How dare he? Lock him up and throw away the key. Attacks on me are attacks on science. Fauci has the audacity to plead the fifth 111 times after he sent a text message in January 2021 saying that the second dose of the COVID shot theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. No wonder he needed an unconditional pardon. There's a reason he received that. Other people knew. The administration knew. They were pushing a vaccine on us that they shouldn't have been knowingly. So much for bodily autonomy. He said one thing privately and another thing publicly over and over and over again. The virus didn't come from the lab. That's conspiratorial. You're crazy if you think that. But in his private journal entries, he wrote, now we know the market was not the source. It was the amplifier. Publicly, safe for pregnant women. Getting COVID's more dangerous in pregnancy. Privately, on a government cell phone, he writes, could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. Publicly, the virus came from nature. Privately, there are early emails where scientists told Fauci some parts of the virus looked like it might have been made or changed in a lab. He got experts together and discussed it while calling all of us who said it insane for saying otherwise. Privately, he wrote that the true mortality rate looked more like 0.2 to 0.3%, but publicly, he cited numbers around 1 to 2% or higher, fueling panic. People got fired, lost their ability to earn a living, ridiculed by the public if they didn't fall in line, by their family, their friends. He made us all wear these ugly ass masks that broke me out. It was awful, couldn't breathe through them, and I hated it with no scientific evidence that it worked. He shut down our schools, and then years later, he had the audacity to claim, quote, I never closed a single school. Even though in his little diary entries, he wrote that he actively pressured mayors and governors to shut down schools, bars, and restaurants. Lying liar. He forced social distancing, saying it was scientifically based. And then, under oath, he admitted that it sort of just appeared and there was no strong evidence behind it. Then why'd you enforce it? He silenced anyone who disagreed with him. 3 top doctors proposed focused protection of the vulnerable instead of broad lockdowns. And then emails show Fauci and Francis Collins worked behind the scenes for a devastating takedown of the idea and its authors, suppressing a legitimate scientific debate that obviously needed to be had. Censoring. Oh, and he promised that vaccines would stop infection and transmission. You won't get COVID if you're vaccinated. We all heard it. Not true. He downplayed natural immunity. And while we're reviewing how awful of a human being this man is, let's not forget the abuse he inflicted on beagles. Under Fauci, he funded studies that included sedating beagle puppies and locking their heads in mesh cages so sandflies could bite them for hours, plus other toxicity tests. That's animal torture. He used your tax dollars to torture dogs, puppies. Fauci was using taxpayer-funded government employees and government time to chase personal cash prizes and boost his own prestige, while the country was in the middle of a crisis. It was like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, we'll both get rich, funded by the taxpayer. He was so egotistical, he was obsessed with his image and cared more about reaching celebrity status and being connected to famous people. It was all very exciting for him. He cared more about that than his country. He wrote it in his little burn book. And then, after all this, he has the audacity to plead the fifth 111 times when he knows he doesn't actually have that right because he accepted a pardon. This was our lives. But to him, it was a chance to be famous, get rich. He received the largest retirement package in American government history. Bill Ackman wrote on X that he and his wife experienced a miscarriage. Meghan McCain shared her miscarriage during COVID. People's lives. The Attorney General of Florida shared his experience that so many other people had.
And I got to tell you, this hits very close to home, Benny. I mean, we were there. I know, like you, our first child in the beginning of 2020. And I remember the doctors and the nurses and everybody pressuring my wife to get vaccinated. We had not been vaccinated, telling her that if she got COVID during the first trimester, it could create, life-altering symptoms that might hurt the baby. And, they pressured, they belittled. I mean, it wasn't an option. They kept forcing it. And I'll be honest, I got weak at one moment and said, well, maybe you ought to just listen to them. They're the experts. They wanted us to believe they were the experts and they were looking out for us. And I thank God that she's a stronger person than I am. She said, no, I am not doing it. I don't know what's in those mRNA jabs. I don't know what the side effects are going to be. Thanks be to God, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. But so many other people out there fell victim to the pressure. And I know there's a lot of very angry women out there today, and rightfully so, because he took something special for them. And, mark my words, we got to go through all the elements of every aspect of Florida law, but there will be no stone left unturned.
So much for looking out for women. And Fauci knew, and others knew, the administration knew. Doctors got rich pushing the vaccines. The pharmaceutical industry made $300 billion. Joe Rogan was ridiculed and made fun of for talking about ivermectin. Turns out he wasn't crazy. Fauci was. The norm, the societal norm was. Ivermectin was crazy. If you didn't want to get the jab, you were crazy. If you didn't want to wear the mask, you were crazy. If you wanted to go about your daily normal life and believe in natural immunity, you were crazy. But isolating us like rats and hugging through plastic wasn't. The herd mentality that was shown through this was disgusting. If you fell for it, you need to understand you are susceptible to government propaganda and ask yourself what else you're falling for. Perhaps every leftist manipulation tactic in the book. Throw Fauci in jail. I cannot believe what was done to our country, and I cannot believe people fell for it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.